Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video we are going to be discussing all things BCBA. I noticed that I've done a lot of videos on my job as a BCBA, but I've never really taken the time to discuss exactly what a BCBA is and what our responsibilities are. If you are maybe a parent watching, or maybe somebody that's studying to become a behavior analyst, or you're just interested in the field of ABA, this is the right video and I'm so happy that you're here. There is a lot of misconceptions about our role as a BCBA. Maybe you think we just play with kids. Are we therapists? Are we babysitters? We get all of that. So this video, I hope, clears up a little bit of what a BCBA actually does. So let's start with what is a BCBA. I'm going to be looking down a little bit because I've written some notes. So a BCBA is a board certified behavior analyst. We have our master's degree and we are specialized in the field of behavior analysis. Like for me, really, our master's degree is in psychology with an emphasis in behavior analysis, but I've also seen some individuals do education, psychology, different fields, but I think they are changing some of those rules. Just if you're interested in getting certified, make sure you check the BACB. So you will see in our field that we use those letters a lot. The BACB is our certification board where it gives you all of the information on RBTs, the BCBAs, BCABAs. So that was one of the biggest things that I was like, why is there so many B, C, and A's in this? But if you're a little confused, the BACB is a good place to start because they do break down every single career path that you can have in applied behavior analysis. BCBAs, like I mentioned, are board certified behavior analysts, and we are trained to assess behavior, right? Our job's focus is on identifying behaviors that may be harmful, maladaptive behaviors, and find appropriate replacements to replace those maladaptive behaviors, right? We use evidence-based interventions to improve the quality of life of our clients. Really, that is our goal. Our job is not to manage behavior, but instead we analyze it, we measure it, and we create plans to essentially change those behaviors that may be harmful. Okay, it's not like we're gonna change every single behavior like that. I feel like people get that kind of like twisted, and that's why our field gets a little bit of a bad rep. Really, we're there to change behaviors that are harmful to our kiddos. So out of many responsibilities that a BCBA has, one of our main responsibilities is to supervise RBTs and technicians. This is something that a lot of people mention, and it's why don't BCBAs do the direct service. When you're thinking about occupational therapists, when you're thinking about speech therapists, they also have their master's degree and they conduct the sessions, the direct sessions. Honestly, for us as BCBAs, our clients have lots of hours and it's just really not possible for a BCBA to see that many clients. That is why we have RBTs who do the direct work and we supervise and give them strategies and, you know, feedback and stuff to improve their sessions. So if you've ever wondered why you don't really see BCBAs typically doing direct, it's because of that. We have clients that have 40 hours, 30 hours. Really, if we had a 40-hour client, we would be spending all our time with them, and then we, you know, can't see anybody else. So I know, like, I'm also one of those BCBAs. I like to do direct, and for the most part, when I'm in my supervision sessions, I do like to jump in a lot. So I still feel like I'm doing direct sometimes, even though there is an RBT present with me. In our supervision sessions, we are observing the RBT conduct the direct therapy with the clients that we have. During this time, we are ensuring programs are ran correctly that are developed by us. An RBT just can't really develop programs. That is not their job. It is our job to create that and train the RBTs to do that. We also model the procedure, so that's why I still feel like I get that direct a little bit, because I do still jump in, like I mentioned, and I model how to run a program correctly. I also make sure that they're running everything correctly, taking data correctly, because as you will see in an ABA session, RBTs are tracking behaviors and data on the programming that I've developed. So we make sure that those are ran accurately and that data is taken correctly. We are clinically responsible for every single case that we oversee. That means that if there is something that isn't effective, we make changes to that. We make modifications. If we see that a client, is not showing progress with something that we've written, we make adjustments to that and train the RBTs on how to run it with a change. Another huge part of our job is analyzing data. Like I mentioned, RBTs are taking data in every single session. Well, I hope, because I make sure that you take data. If you're an RBT and you don't take data, what are you doing? So I analyze the trends, the levels, and the variability and how the client is performing. If I see that something is decreasing, then I make adjustments to it. If I see a behavior is increasing a lot, like we have a lot of clients that have a wide range of behaviors that are maladaptive, including self-injury, property destruction, tantrums, task refusal, things like that, and just teaching them better ways to functionally communicate their wants and needs. That is what we do. A BCBA's favorite thing to do is writing treatment plans. That is also something, a huge responsibility for us, a huge task that we have to do. Every 6 months, we do work with insurances. So we have to essentially have a report of everything that the client has been working on every 6 months. And sometimes it's 3, sometimes it depends on the insurance. But we design individualized plans to assess different things. So we have behavior reduction goals, skill acquisition, replacement behaviors, caregiver goals. Those are just some of the things that are included in a treatment plan. Examples of some skill acquisition, we do use some assessments, which is also a part of our job, is conducting assessments like the ABLES, the VV map, different things like that, so we can develop a better plan and help the client gain more skills in the realms of communication, restrictive, repetitive, and social skills, of course. Another responsibility that a BCBA has is parent or caregiver training. Caregiver training is very, very important. We are not there with the child 24/7. The parents are. And that is why we conduct caregiver training sessions. During caregiver training sessions, we teach behavior management strategies. Caregivers often say, he struggles here, he struggles there. So we give them strategies to help them help their child. We train caregivers on the basic foundations of applied behavior analysis, such as, reinforcement, the functions of behavior, things like that. This in turn helps the client generalize the skills to all areas in which they go to and across the people that they encounter. I do want to mention that parent training is really not optional. Like I mentioned, we're not there all the time. So that is when the caregiver does really have to step up. So we're not trying to be annoying. It's really just part of a job. I know sometimes it may feel like an additional task that you have to do, and we're sorry, but I love the parents that really, for every little thing they message me, such milestones. My child was able to ride a roller coaster. I was able to go to the store and he didn't have a tantrum. Like, that just makes me so happy, because I know that you are trying to apply as best as you can the strategies I give you. Last but not least, one of our job responsibilities is to collaborate with the schools and other professionals that are in the client's life. Some of our clients, they have OT, they have speech, they have, dance class, whatever. Wherever, dentist, doctor, wherever the client struggles, essentially the BCBA goes, and we try to have different strategies there to assist the client. So we do attend IEP meetings, we consult with teachers, we also coordinate with speech therapists and occupational therapists how to best approach things, because we all have our specialized areas. So I do like to, as much as possible, if the client is struggling, let's say for example communication, we talk to the speech therapist, see what their recommendations are to assist the client as best we can as behavior analysts. So essentially, being a BCBA means just balancing clinical decision making, supervision, documentation with our treatment plans, parent collaboration. That's essentially the gist of our role as behavior analysts. So I hope this video helped you understand a little bit more of what a BCBA does. I appreciate you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.